Tonight, we take you inside 3 chilling stories from Singapore, where the familiar turns unsettling and the ordinary hides something unexplainable. Stay close, because what you hear might just make you question what's really out there. Welcome back to the Morbid Codex. My mum always told me, when a woman is carrying her child in the last few months, she cannot be outside too late. The spirits like to follow. I used to laugh it off, thinking it was just another old Malay superstition. But when my wife was in her 3rd trimester, I finally understood why these stories stick. We lived in a quiet HDB estate near Bedok Reservoir. One evening, close to midnight, my wife suddenly craved for nasi lemak. I volunteered to take a drive to Changi Village. As I walked past the playground to the car park, I noticed the swings moving slightly, though there was no wind. A soft humming followed the motion, almost like a lullaby. I froze. It was a woman's voice, low and soothing, almost beckoning. But then, the humming didn't stay at the playground. It seemed to follow me, echoing softly to the car park. At Changi Village, I quickly got the nasi lemak and eager to get back. Back home, I quickly parked my car and brisk walked to the lift landing. The lift dinged as it opened, and I stepped in. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. A message from my wife. "Are you talking to the neighbor?" I looked puzzled and called her. She whispered, trembling, "I heard you talking to a woman just outside the gate, right before you came in." I froze. That was impossible. I was still in the lift when she said this. I rushed into the flat, trying to shake off the unease. My wife was pale, looking very scared. The living room smelled strongly of frangipani flowers, a scent I'd never brought in. It lingered thickly in the air. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept replaying every sound, every shadow. The hum, the swaying swings. My rational mind fought to explain it all. Maybe a neighbor, maybe the wind. But deep down, I knew it was something else. The next day, my mum came over and quietly placed a pair of scissors under my wife's pillow, explaining that it was a common belief meant to keep spirits and other unwanted things away from the unborn child. Weeks later, every night seemed peaceful. The humming never followed me again. But I stopped going out late at night for anything other than necessities. That was the last time I doubted my mum's words. I grew up in Jurong West, in one of those old 4-room HDB flats. My family was close, especially my younger brother, Azmi. We shared a room, shared secrets, the usual sibling stuff. But one night, I realized not everything was what it seemed. It was during my poly days, and I came home late after studying with friends. It was about 10 p.m. when I unlocked the door. The house was quiet. My parents were already asleep. From the corner of my eye, I saw Azmi in the kitchen. He was standing by the sink, washing a cup. "Hey, kau belum tidur?" I asked him. He didn't reply. He didn't even look up, just kept rinsing that same cup. I shrugged it off, thinking maybe he was annoyed or too tired, so I went straight to our room. Barely 5 minutes later, the front door opened. Azmi walked in. He looked surprised to see me and said, "You're back already?" My heart sank. I told him, "Weren't you just in the kitchen?" He shook his head and said he just came back from meeting his friends. I dragged him to the kitchen, but the sink was dry. No cup, no water, nothing. I thought he was playing a prank on me, but he was insistent. He even showed me a receipt that he bought a bubble tea just 10 minutes ago before coming home. He can't be in the kitchen. That night I lay in bed, restless. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of the living room chair scraping against the floor. I got up quietly and peeked through the door. Azmi was there again, sitting on the sofa. But this time something felt wrong. He was facing the TV, but the TV was off. The screen was black. He wasn't moving, wasn't even breathing from what I could see, just sitting unnaturally still. I turned to check our bedroom. Azmi was there, fast asleep beside my bed, snoring. I froze. My chest tightened. I knew what I was looking at in the living room wasn't him. I locked the room door, whispered prayers I barely remembered, and stayed awake till dawn. The next morning, I told my mum what I saw. She just went quiet, then finally said, "There are old stories, about spirits called Hantu Raya. They can take on the shape of a person. Sometimes they wander into places where they don't belong. It doesn't mean they're tied to us. But if you ever see something like that, don't acknowledge it. Just pray, and it will leave." Since then, nothing strange has happened again. Maybe the prayers worked, or maybe whatever I saw that night simply moved on. All I know is I still share the same room with Azmi, and now whenever I see him fast asleep beside me, I remind myself to be grateful it's really him, and not something else. We had just moved into our new flat at Bidadari. It was supposed to be a fresh start, quiet estate, plenty of greenery, a nice neighborhood. Everything seemed fine the first night, but I didn't know that moving in also meant inviting something else, something I couldn't explain. The first night, I slept normally. But the second night? That was when things went wrong. It started around 3 a.m. I woke up, but not fully. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. My body was completely frozen. That's when I saw a little boy standing at the foot of my bed. He was small, pale, and just staring at me. In my half-conscious state, I saw that he started crawling toward me, his tiny arms reaching out. "Come play," he seemed to whisper, though no sound came out. My heart raced. I forced myself to wake up, jolting upright. Sweat drenched my singlet. I checked the time. 3:07 a.m. A few hours later, it happened again. This time, it was worse. I woke up, or thought I did, but I was paralyzed again. I felt pressure on my arm, like something was leaning against me. My heart thumped in terror. Slowly, I tried to turn my head. A woman was sitting on the edge of my bed, her lower back pressing into my arm. Her long black hair completely covered her face. I couldn't see her eyes, her mouth, nothing. Just her hair. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Seconds stretched like hours. I tried to shake her off, tried to move my fingers, my legs, anything. The pressure felt real. I could feel the weight of her, cold and heavy. My mind raced, trying to force myself awake. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I gasped, bolted upright. My wife woke up instantly. She grabbed my hand. "What's wrong?" "You look very pale," she said. I could barely speak, my voice hoarse from panic. I explained what happened, but I felt ridiculous. But I knew it was more than that. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. By 6 a.m., I forced myself into a shower and went straight to work, trying to shake off the fear. After work, I went to a nearby temple and explained what happened. They gave me an amulet to protect against restless spirits. They told me to place it near the bed and to keep a candle burning for a few nights. That night, I slept with the amulet on my bedside table. I didn't feel the pressure again, didn't see the boy, didn't wake up frozen. Slowly the house felt lighter. The air no longer felt heavy. Even now I remember those hours vividly. I still don't know if it was truly supernatural or just my mind playing tricks during sleep paralysis. But ever since then, I keep the amulet close, just in case. That's all for tonight's chilling tales from Singapore. If you thought these stories unsettled you, make sure to subscribe to the Morbid Codex, because the next journey into the darkness is just around the corner.